When we were done, after a couple hours of laughing like this, 50 boys lined up for a handshake. Instead of a handshake, I put my arm around every boy, held him in my arms, and I whispered in each of their ears, I love you. Next week, here comes a letter. Dear Mr. Jones, you'll remember me. I'm the one you hugged and told me you loved me. He never knew there were 50 other boys in the line. Which will those kids remember the longest? My 2 hours of nonsense, they didn't understand one word I said? Or 10 minutes in a heart-to-heart gesture of I love you? Several years ago, I did a meeting in Minneapolis for 1,000 realtors. When the meeting was over, I tried to be the last one out. As I went out the door, there was only one old-timer left. I put out my briefcase, I gave him a hug. And about a week later, here comes a letter. Mr. Jones, thank you for what you did Saturday in Minneapolis. At the end of the meeting, you came to the rear and you hugged me. I'm in my 70s. You're the first person in my life who's ever embraced me. Thank you. I'd encourage you to never quit hugging. I know there must be other old people like me who may die without one embrace. Goodbye. Now I want to explain something. If you're uptight and hugging, I understand that. When I was 14 years old, I was 6 feet tall. I told my dad one day, Dad, I'd appreciate if you'd quit hugging me and kissing me. It embarrasses me. I want to act like a man. And my dad didn't hug and kiss me anymore. But I'm glad that God let me live long enough, and my dad long enough, for me to start learning the difference between acting like a man and being a man. Amen. And so long before my dad went home to be with the Lord, I'd come down here to Pompano Beach. I'd pick all 240 pounds off him up and put him on my lap. And for the first 5 or 10 minutes, I'd give him hugs and smooshes and kisses. It was a little sickening, yeah, but he loved every bit of it. Now I'm not telling you to do this, but I'm telling you this. Whatever you do, do it with your heart. I don't like being manipulated any more than you do. But be awful careful about, now you see, I understand why people are a little uptight on the hugging bit. Because there was a time in my life that I didn't do it either. But there comes a time in your life you become a little less self-conscious and a little more others-conscious. And your job is to take the initiative. Now some people, you say, well, do you hug everybody? No, you don't hug everybody. You say, how do you know who to hug? Well, always look at their eyes. And they can tell me whether they're longing for one or they don't want it. You really want it, and I'm not hugging you again either. Now, how many ever heard Paul Harvey on the radio? Then some of you heard this years ago. 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm in a hospital going for my 3rd tumor operation in 2.5 weeks. A dozen doctors couldn't do any more but give me more antibiotics and cut more than surgery. I got the preliminary anesthesia. I'm on the carpet. They rush you back to surgery. I'm going out the door. As I'm going out the door, the phone rings. Let me take the call quick. It was Paul Harvey. I said, Paul, I can't even believe you knew where I was. I can't talk to you now. I'm on my way to surgery. Paul did not know how serious it was. I didn't want any sympathy calls. Noontime, Paul Harvey told on the radio, national radio, where I was and what happened. As soon as he went off the radio, the hospital switchboard lit up. Fort Worth, San Diego. But I remember one call as much as anything I'll ever remember. 2 o'clock. Mr. Jones, my name is Cecil Allen. I'm from Wayne, Michigan. I heard Paul Harvey at noon. He told where you were and what had happened. I'm calling to thank you for what you did a couple of weeks ago in Detroit. You'll remember me. I'm the guy you got on your knees to hug. I'm the guy in the wheelchair. Some months ago, I was on a gas station with 2 cars running together pretty fast without my legs in between. I don't know that I'll ever walk again. But the reason I'm calling is to thank you for your hug and tell you I'm praying you get well. Goodbye. I got this straight. I don't like being called an idiot or looking like a clown. I never liked embarrassing my children. But I've been playing silly games now, like kissing women's hands and thanking people with a smile, and hugging men for now over 35 years. And guess what? I'll be doing it till I die. You know why? I know why I'm doing it. I get this. I hug at least 100 men every day. You know what hugs me? It wears me out? Not hugging them. It's hanging onto them while they're trying to get away. Now listen. I don't like this any more than you do, so hold still. All right. Now you're laughing. Did you notice? Did you notice? Every time I get you laughing, I do what? I make a point. Get them laughing, make a point. Why? Because when people are laughing, they're open and the point sinks down deeper and brings up the truth they know. So, the point. I just got you laughing to remind you I did not come here today to encourage any of you. Say, why'd you come? I came to get you thinking and encourage you, so as I'm encouraging you and you're thinking, you can see I am being encouraged. So, well, how can I encourage anybody if you're doing all the talking? We covered that already. Now listen, this meeting is almost over. You better get with it soon. Now, where does encouragement come from? From here? No. As I look at your faces in the hallway, I won't get to meet all of you. But thank God for you giving me from your heart through your eyes. That's all that matters. You say, well, I tried to encourage him once. He wouldn't let me. You missed a point, too. I didn't say you would encourage him for him to encourage. I said you would encourage him so you could be encouraged. Haven't you figured out yet if he's made up his mind to be miserable, there's nothing you can do about it? And your wife taught you that yet? Well, my wife taught it to me and I taught it back to her. They say it takes two to make a happy marriage. Did you ever hear that? Takes two to make a happy marriage? That's another lie. It does not take two to make a happy marriage. It takes one. And I meant, if she wants to be miserable, she's on her own. All right? I'll prove it. God never made a man who keep a woman happy. God never made a woman keep a man happy. And God never made a company to keep a field force happy. And if you're not learning to be happy, then God bless your thumb-sucking pinhead. You say, well, I think I could be happier if I were somewhere else. Well, I wish you'd heard him get over there then. Because if you can't be happy where you are, it's a cinch you can't be happy where you ain't. You say, that's poor grammar. I know, I'll throw that in there for you English majors. I heard an old farmer say, I'd rather hear a man say he's seen something when he saw something than him say he saw something and ain't seen nothing. Well, okay. Well, we got to hurry to the big one now. The big one. And what is the big one? I'll tell you, if I had my way, but if I did what I would like to do, Ron wouldn't pay me. And my marriage is pretty solid, but not enough for me to go home without any money. Now, so here's what I wish I could have talked about the whole morning. Because everything God has done in my life, he's done through a book. And so my phrase is, you are the same today you're going to be 5 years from now, except for two things. The people you meet in the books you read. The people you meet in the books you read. Oh, thank God for books. You know, I pity kids always blaming their parents. Only a year ago, I preached my mother's funeral right here in Florida. And I was happy to tell everybody at that funeral that I gave her a little sermon. The most wonderful mother that ever lived. You said, weren't you divorced? Yes, she left us. I never knew her as a boy. But you see, she made a mistake. She never meant to do it. When I finally woke up and realized she didn't mean it, I used to call her every week. I bought her a home. I took her to Europe. Oh, what a wonderful thing it is to be learning. One night it was Johnny Bench. Johnny Bench told how his dad was the greatest baseball player and all the things he did. And I thought, isn't that something? My dad never did one thing for me Johnny Bench's dad did for him. But my dad's the greatest man that ever lived. He did all he could. He's my dad. Oh, God, how I pity people who blame their husband for doing something or blame their wife for doing something or blame their parent. Oh, my friend, you got a lot to learn about life. You don't need counseling. You need to wake up and think and read. Because I can tell you the book that I read that helped me see every thought I share with you. You say, are you a fast reader? No, I'm a slow reader. Sometimes it takes me a whole hour to read one page. I never knew anybody as slow. Oh, you do now. So what makes you so slow? I don't know why I'm slow. God made me slow. I used to be ashamed of it, but I've got money now. I'm not ashamed. It's like the guy said to his wife, honey, How can one woman be so beautiful and stupid? She says, God made me this way. She says, why would God make you so beautiful and stupid? She said, He made me beautiful so you love me, and stupid so I could love you. Now, you say, what does it take to be successful? Here it comes. Just one word. Thankfulness. Thankfulness. The first mark of greatness is thankfulness. The first sign of smallness is thanklessness. An attitude of gratitude flavors everything you do. You know, when I was young, I used to say nobody ever gave me anything, how wrong I was. Now I say with all my heart, everything I have, even the air I breathe, I owe. I retired 4 years ago when I was 65, and God forgave me, and I'll never do that again. Because you see, when you get older, you don't work for money. You work because it's such a privilege to be able to just be able to do something for somebody or with somebody. Now, when I go to Poland, you know what gets my biggest applause when I'm in a nation? When I stand and conclude my talk and I tell them this: I'm not proud to be an American. You see, most foreigners are sick and tired of our arrogance and conceit. And they love to hear an American be able to bravely say, I'm not proud to be an American. But you know what I say then? They understand then. I'm not proud to be an American. I'm humbled to be an American. But had I been born in Mexico, or Japan, or Poland, or Malaysia, I'd be just as thankful to be a Chinese or a Japanese or a Pole or a Brit as I am an American. Because I'd rather be a thankful Russian living in Siberia than a thankless American living anywhere in America. Because if you're not thankful, you don't have anything. So tonight, Gloria and I will bow our heads and give thanks. Now I know that some of you say, well, did you used to feel this way years ago when you didn't have nothing? Don't talk to me like that. I used to go home and I'd say, look, honey, Gloria, man of the month, look, man of the year. And she'd say, where is the cash? I'd say, honey, you listen here. Did you talk to her like that? No, but I wish I could have. Well, tonight, Gloria and I will hold hands like we used to do with the kids, and we give thanks, and this is the way we pray, something like this. Dear God, thank you for the food. But Lord, if we had no food, we'd thank you just the same. Because God, we want you to know we're not thankful for just what you give us. We're thankful most of all for the privilege of learning to be thankful. To be thankful. In my young, now almost 70 years, I have never met one completely thankful human being in my whole life. So I want my children to be learning what I need to be learning more than anybody else. To be thankful for the privilege of learning to be thankful.